Hello and welcome back to Marine for TCG. My name is Joe. Drink of the day is a cold can of Red Bull. And big news today. Today Bandai had their presentation talking about all of their current and an upcoming trading card game. And I want to talk about specifically the One Piece portion of that. Because we had OP17, we had Starter Deck 31-36, we had EB05, we had some interesting new event promos, and some shiny new alt art. So let's just jump straight into... But first, I need to let you know that this weekend, on June 14th, Sleeve Sheaf are having a restock of their popular Chicken Nugget deck box. I know a number of people missed out on the first drop, so if you do want to catch this restock, make sure you're on their website, 8 PM Central European time, for a restock of this spicy deck box. And if you do purchase anything from the website, please do use code MARINE for 5% off. Thank you to Sleeve Sheaf for sponsoring this video. These starter deck cards, and we have the final SR for each of the 6 starter decks that are coming out in July. And for Luffy, no surprises here, it's Luffy. 7-9, Straw Hat Crew. If you have a total of 3 or more given Don cards on your field, this character gains Rush. Naturally, that synergizes perfectly with your leader. If you have the stage on board, a reminder the stage every turn can give 1 rested Don to one of your leader or characters. You can then give 1 rested Don from stage to leader, and leader can grant 2 to something else. Naturally, then you'll have the 3, so it works perfectly. And on play, this guy can give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1000 power for the turn for each Straw Hat Crew type card that you control. So that counts himself, that counts your leader, and that counts your stage. So at a baseline, if you have the stage on board, this is on play minus 3k. Not bad for a 7-9 rush unit that, with all the rested Don you get to give with this effect, this is sort of like a 4-9 rush, which is big, who would have thought. But furthermore, if you've just got a couple extra characters on the board, say you comboed out with your Sanji on 5 Don, and played something off of it, another 5 cost, this is going to be minus 5,000 on play, which is, suddenly that starts getting really big, and makes even characters like 6 cost and L's easier to deal with. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with this card. Big body, rush is great, and then having a little bit of board clear seems good as well. Isn't going to help with your card economy issue that Red always has, but both the Sanji and a couple other cards that we've already seen revealed for this deck, like maybe the Jinbei if we end up playing that one, as well as the stage, will definitely help with that. I think this deck, I didn't have very high hopes for it when it was sort of announced that this is the red one, but I'm certainly pretty intrigued to give these cards a go. This Luffy's pretty cool, and I also think it's maybe worth thinking about in red-green. The one concern I have with it is this: if you have 3 or more given Don, obviously we can play stage, which can be one of them, and we want 1 given Don anyway. But the other 2 means you're going to have to actually give 2 Don to something. We don't have a ton of Don givers in RG, but if you can get that effect off, your board is usually pretty full of Straw Hat Crew characters in this deck. So this is kind of like a 7-9 rush round table. If you've got a full board of 5 characters, including this guy, and your leader, and the boat, that's minus 7,000. That's a lot. That is a lot of power down. And it could be worth trying if we do end up wanting more power down in this deck. Even if you don't get the rush, you can still get that and develop a meaningful body, although you are competing pretty hard with the 7-cost Zoro, it must be said. Next up, we've got more support for the Mihawk deck. In my last video, I was just kind of doing a bit of trolling. So I knew it was a Mihawk deck and not a Zoro deck. But I guess I knew because, yeah, this is a Mihawk card. And this seems... I think this is going to be good for Zoro, but this just seems like a Mihawk card. It's a 6-7, good stat line. Warlord's Muggy Kingdom, who cares? Your turn, when this character becomes rested, draw 1, trash 1. Like, it's designed for Mihawk's effect. You play it out, you tap him with your leader effect, you get a cycle 1. Pretty good. On play, if your leader has a slash attribute, you get to play a Perona or a slash attribute character with the cost of 5 or less. Obviously, it synergizes nicely with the Odin from the deck, and this is the main Perona that you're going to be playing in either Zoro or Mihawk. More so Mihawk, but in Zoro, your best target is still going to be this 5-cost Shigi. This card's just, you just know how good this card is. This card's crazy. And getting to play both of these upright is actually quite nice, because obviously this card is competing fairly hard with the 6-cost lore. And the benefits that the 6-cost lore has is it's a blocker late game, which is nice. But also you get to recycle your searchers. Like, picking up one of your characters isn't a detriment. That's just an upside. So getting to reuse something like a Perona searcher or a Kid and Killer searcher, or even just pick up like a 2K, it's just good inherently. So I'm not sure this is a strict upgrade on 6-cost lore, but it's got better stat line. An extra 1,000 power is no joke, a lot harder for your opponent to deal with, and will apply more pressure on the following turn. And don't forget, this when it becomes rested effect, will apply when you attack with it. So you will just get a bit more consistency from this card. I don't know, I like this card. I'm excited to give it a go. It's going to be good in Mihawk. It's going to be probably pretty good in Zoro as well. But I'm not 100% sure if it is better or worse than 6-cost lore, because you cannot play out things like Secret Bonnie, things like Stun Bonnie. So Mihawk will be sort of pushed away from the Supernova engine, I think if he does go down this route with this card. It'll be interesting to try out. Next up, Kuzan got an actually kind of mad card. I'm excited for this one. 661k Navy Garp. On play, if your leader is Navy, play a Navy character with 8,000 power or less other than Garp from your hand. So yeah, at a baseline, alongside the Kuzan that you'd be playing on 6 anyway, you get to play another man. You get to play another 6k unit. And this is a 1k, and this deck has struggled with 1k sometimes in the past. So that's pretty solid. But also you can use this to cheat out like bigger characters that you wouldn't be able to play on 6 Dom. Sakazuki can draw 2 back to refill your hand for the 2 cards you've just played. And getting to play this 1 Don early is pretty nice. But also Aramaki. I think this actually makes Aramaki a lot more interesting, because you can get that blocker online just that 1 turn earlier, when your opponent is not going to have as many large characters as when you get to 8k. So you're going to get more value with that. And you'll also get more value out of the Activate main. Reminder, this guy bot decks a 2-cost, as well as giving you some cycle. So into things like GU Luffy, and Nell, Blackbeard, this is obviously very, very good. So I actually think we could see Aramaki come back into Kuzan, which we've not seen in a while. The Garp you obviously can't play out as this Garp. It's a shame, but I'm not surprised. Getting to play a 6-6 and 8-8 and then something else on your 6th Dom turn would be kind of nuts. And you also can't do this the other way. This Garp cannot play out this Garp. It's quite funny that both the SRs this deck has got recently are Garps. But hey, it is what it is. I'm excited to play this card. Going even wider in Kuzan is going to be great. This deck already wanted to go very wide, and being able to do that a turn early is exciting. And also playing out a couple of cards, you know, cheating a Don here and there, I think is also quite exciting. Next up, we got the final card for Purple Katakuri. And this is 10-12 Big Mom, and I love this this form. This is the like demon form. She goes into Wano, right? I don't know where this art is from. It doesn't look like Wano. Maybe this was on Whole Cake and I missed this, but I remember this from Wano. Anyway, at 10-12 Big Mom, on play, Don -4, trash 1 card from your hand, heal 1 card from the top of your deck, and then set one of your opponent character's base power to 0 during this turn. Brilliant. So Don -4 is a big cost. Naturally, you can offset that a little bit though, between the 5-cost Katakuri and the 8-cost Katakuri. Both of those dudes are going to start ramping your Dons back. So if you have this 5-cost on the board, this is only a Don -2. And if you have both of these on the board, it's a Don -1 effectively, making it very easy to offset that cost. However, it will make it more of a cost in purple decks that can't afford to play these cards. Healing's great. Katakuri can struggle with getting run down sometimes, at least he has done in the past. So an extra life is cool, and then being able to remove one of your opponent's characters is also cool. This combos really nicely with MrMaCHONaCHOMan, because you can just immediately rest whatever you hit with this. Even say your opponent played like a 10-cost Blackbeard. You play this Big Mom, use the on-play, set it to 0, MrMaCHONaCHOMan it, then you can attack it. Now that is again a lot of Don minus, but we do have these effects that can regenerate Don, so I don't think it's like too bad. And MrMaCHONaCHOMan's a good card anyway. I think it's going to be a nice buff for Katakuri. Outside of Katakuri, this could maybe have a bit of potential in the Purple Yellow Pudding. I'm not sure if that deck quite has what it takes to hang with the big guys anymore, but both of these cards are interesting for the deck, and I'm sort of excited to see if people can come up with other decks where this would be a valid inclusion. Next up, pour one out for the Sabo mains, man. What is this? Well, I don't know what they're doing with this starter deck. They clearly think this, like, weenie aggro version of Sabo is what they're trying to push, where you just go really wide. We saw this a long time ago. Some, like, Bello Betty players tried to make Sabo into Bello Betty, and it was just kind of bad. But Bandai seems to disagree, and this is the direction they're trying to push Sabo in. Summoning out all these 4K units to then buff them up to 5 and swing a bunch at your opponent. Which is fine, but these guys just die. They just die immediately. Either to Mamaragan before they even get to swing, or just after one swing. So, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of these cards. We'll go over the Koala. This character gains blocker and +1 cost, so it fulfills your leader's condition and is a 7k blocker. When combined with leader effect, on play, give 1 rested Don to your leader. Perfect. Then play a Rev Army character with 4,000 power or less from your hand or trash. It's fine. You can play out one of these same targets that we talked about when we talked about the Kuma. Maybe this build will be better than I'm expecting. I'm interested to give it a go. But this is going to, like, blow chunks into big leaders. I'm thinking like an Ace, like an Army. Because all these units are just too small. I don't know. I like that they gave Sabo some stuff for his odd curve. And this alternate way to play, maybe it is just better than I'm expecting. But I feel like these cards are bad. I feel like these cards are bad. We'll see. Anyway, pour one out for the Sabo main. There's your 2 SRs. They both play a 4k power unit. What a treat. Finally, Kid got some love. 6-7 Kid. Having a Kid with a 6-7 stat line. The kids are going to love that one. On opponent's attack once per turn, you can turn the top or bottom of your life cards face down. Change the target of that attack to one of your Eustace Kid cards with a base power of 5,000 or more. Weird effects, right? So we don't have many effects that can flip the bottom of your life cards at all. Leader specifically flips your top card face up. But I think this is designed to sort of just alleviate aggression. I feel like we can do this by healing with like a Kuma, but this is an alternate route and it will work turn over turn. So at the end of your turn, you're going to flip the top card of your life face up to make this a blocker. And then when your opponent attacks, you can flip it back face down to redirect into this Kid. I like the redirect stuff. It was cool in Dofi, it's cool in Blackbeard. It'll probably be pretty cool in this deck as well. And you can also redirect to leader if there's a trigger that you really need in your life. Or to protect one of your characters, which is cool. So into a more aggressive deck, you can deny one swing of this, deny one swing by this guy being a blocker from your leader effect. So you can sort of get out of 2 swings for free if they're 6,000 or less, which is pretty cool. And then activate main once per turn, you can turn the top or bottom card of your life face up. Give up to 1 rested Don to your leader. This is, like, fine. If you need a life card to be face up, cool. This leader tends to want life cards to be face down, so that you can then use your leader effect at the end of your turn. This seems like more of a GY lore effect, because he loves having that Don on his leader, and doesn't really care whether the top card is face up or down as much. In fact, having it face up gives him more knowledge on whether he can just use leader effect to get something good out. So this seems like a decent option for GY lore. But at the end of the day, this can just be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more value in your yellow Kid deck. It also works nicely with the 6 cost of Rouge. I'll put it on your screen now. That guy wants to flip a life face down to give a Don. So you can, if you got both of them, you can just give a million Dons. And don't forget, this can also redirect into 8 cost Kid later on in the game. If you play this on 8, you can then redirect into an even bigger body to get even more value out of this effect. I like this card a lot. I am excited for yellow Kid. I think this deck's going to be good. It's going to, like, Giga want to go second, because 468 is the curve. They haven't changed that, unfortunately. But these cards are cool. I love redirecting. It's a really fun mechanic. And now we move on to OP17. We've got 2 of the leaders revealed. We know what 3 more of them are. And we've got a couple of cards as well to talk about. So firstly, Luffy, Black Leader, Elbaf, Straw Hat Crew. All of your characters with a cost of 12 or more gain blocker. Who knows, man? There's one card that we could talk about with this that's already been revealed, but we don't really know how good this effect is going to be until we see what these 12 cost or more characters end up being. Should have absolutely mentioned it on the slides, but I kind of forgot, so here's a last minute addition. The 7 cost black Luffy from OP15 is also likely to be pretty good in this Luffy leader. The fact that it will become a blocker because it's going to be a 17 cost once you have the requisite amount of cards in your trash, and buffing your leader in your opponent's turn, naturally very good. There's also the chance that the OP15 Nami SR is also good, although I would say this one is more, I don't know, it's potential, because we don't know how oriented around Straw Hat Crew this deck is going to be, versus being more focused around new Elbaf cards. If you are planning on playing this leader, it's probably worth getting copies of both cards, including the Alt-Art Luffy's if you do like the bling. The Alt-Art Nami is already extraordinarily expensive. It's been bought out by a bunch of epic investors, and I don't think it's worth the money. One of them is this Loki, though, and this card seems very good. 6/8 Giants Elbaf. Firstly, incredible art. Look at this, man. This is sick. I love this. Big fan. And then this character gains 12 cost, that's permanently, and gains 3,000 power in your opponent's turn. So as I understand it, these effects are separate. So this will be an 18 cost once it's in play in your turn and your opponent's turn, but only becomes a 6/11 in your opponent's turn. But yeah, that's right. This is a 6/11 blocker. And now, eat your heart out. He thought he was big at 6'10". Yeah, Loki's 6'11". That's crazy. Getting to play this on 6 Don means you're just going to immediately nullify an opponent's hit next turn, unless they can specifically rest a 6k base cost unit. Oh, sorry, a 6 cost base. 6 base cost unit. Ah, why was that so hard? But also on play, you get to KO any number of opponent's characters up to a total cost of 4 or less. If we have cost reduction in this deck, maybe that can even cheat into getting rid of some big characters. We'll have to see. A lot of the cost reduction stuff has gone. We still do have Tempest Kick, though, as a relevant option. But imagine into just like a GU Luffy, you can just immediately kill 2 2-drops. Into a Nell, you can kill 4 priests. Whilst developing a 6/11 blocker. Even if an Enel plays a Gamma Knife, they still can't Monoragon this. They've got to use Kitten as well, which is pretty sick. I think this card's going to be really, really good. Obviously in this deck. Outside of this deck, I don't know, man. It's just a 6/8. If it's not a blocker, you're losing a lot of the value. But it's pretty hype, man. I can't lie. I like this card. This card looks sick. Once again, this 8 cost Luffy, who I'm less sure on because he is not going to interact with your leader effect. He says if there is a character with a cost of 12 or more, this character gains Rush. 8k stat line for Rush is fine, but like if you actually have to play this for 8, we've seen the 6 cost Yamato be able to turn into an 8 cost Yamato that grabs back a 6 or less and then plays a 2. This says draw 1 and then play a 2 from your trash. So it's slightly more value efficient, but you don't get the interaction that the 6 cost Yamato does. But obviously, this is a different deck, right? This is for Black Luffy. I think we're going to need to see what cards cost 2 or less. But I'm imagining it's going to be very much like little blockers, little searchers. So you'll get a lot of value. Maybe you can play out this Chopper if we end up having a lot of Straw Hat Crew type cards that are important. But yeah, this one is quite hard, I think, to evaluate until we get those 2 drops. But it seems reasonable. Replacing itself in hand, potentially going +1 if you summon a Searcher, and being a rush unit is fine. But for 8 cost, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually good enough, but we'll have to see. Now, I hope you like Red Whitebeard Pirates, because we've got another Red Whitebeard Pirates leader, and this time it is Mr. Whitebeard himself. On opponent's attack, once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Your leader or one of your characters gains 4,000 for the battle. 4,000. You thought Red Blue Ace was crazy, turning into a brick into a 2k. This guy turns a brick into a Rad Beam. What the fuck? That's crazy, man. 1 card for 4k power is just so value efficient. That is sort of the peak we've seen of events. Save that one Katakuri event. But yeah, this can turn a brick into a 4K. Defense off the wazoo, and this is going to help with Red's card economy thing. In terms of a couple cards you could look to get now, it's interesting, a lot of the Red Ace cards from the Red Ace leader that we've just had come out, they're all based around that 8,000 power archetype. And if you can't give them Rush, they're going to be a lot weaker. So I feel like a lot of them aren't going to be that good in the deck. But two that doubtless are the 5-cost Secret Ace. It's a Whitebeard Searcher. We're a Whitebeard deck. I'd be surprised if you don't play this. And also Moby Dick. Beautiful ult art, by the way. Absolutely stunning ult art on this one. So if you do like Newgate, if you're a Newgate fan, maybe grab some of these cards now. Ace is reasonably cheap because it's not very good in OP16. And the Moby Dick ult art, I think it's a little bit more, but this is such a good looking card. And being a universal searcher seems like a natural shoe-in for this deck. We'll see whether he actually ends up being based around the 8,000 power archetype. But without knowing yet, I find it hard to recommend you grabbing all those sort of 8,000 power cards. Although if you wanted to be safe, you could grab maybe the Newgate SR and maybe even the Luffy SR. Now, here are the 3 other leaders we've had revealed. So that's right, we don't know what the blue one is. And next to them, I've just got a handful of cards that you could consider picking up now, ahead of time, whilst the prices are still relatively low. I put the alt arts here, but obviously you can consider the regular arts as well. The green leader is going to be Shanks. This is obviously going to be Red Hair Pirates. I imagine this may well be Film. It will also be Slash, so Piranha Search is something else you could put here. Although Shanks' crew are typically not very Slash-oriented. Bettman's ranged, Yasop's ranged. Lucky Roo is also ranged, I think. He's just the gun guy. So I'm not sure the Piranha Searcher is going to be a good inclusion for this one, but you never know. These 3 Shanks are sort of the only Red Hair Pirates targets we've got. And they're all pretty reasonable. If we end up with playing the Film engine, a lot of those cards are kind of mid, but you can take a look through the Film cards if you like. Purple deck is going to be Kaido, and that means this King is probably a good one to grab. And also this Kaido, they're both from EB04, which was part of a main set, so it's not got the usual EB thing. But the Alt Art King is beautiful, and both of these are just incredibly sticky bodies, which is generally very good. And King giving you a double ramp, if this has any kind of 10-cost Kaido or something, which seems probable, this card's going to be very good. Black Maria as well is about the best Animal Kingdom Pirates 2K in purple. It's the only one I'd bother thinking about picking up at this point in time. But yeah, here's some suggestions here. And the yellow deck is Big Mum. Now, the previous yellow Big Mum leaders were horrible. They were both ass. So I very much hope this one is better. Big Mum deserves a good leader. All the good Big Mum Pirates leaders have been not Big Mum. They've been Katakuri and Pudding. And like, this is kind of cope. Zeus is probably going to go in the deck. It's Zeus. This is one of the best yellow 2Ks in the game. These two, I'm not so sure about these two. These cards have been notoriously not great. Maybe this deck will have some way to make their effects stronger. But yeah, these two are kind of cope. This 5-cost Katakuri and the 6-cost Big Mum. But I just thought I'd put a few cards here that you could consider picking up now. If I had to pick one of these, I would definitely go with King. I think the Alt Art King is probably going to be extremely good. And then if I had to pick another, the 9-cost Shanks would be probably my second pick. And now we're moving into the news portion of the video, so no more new cards. In October, at some point, we will be getting Heroines Edition Volume 2, which is going to be our EB05. I love EBs, I'm excited that we're getting another one. We don't really know very much about this set right now, obviously it's just been revealed. But if Heroines Volume 1 was anything to go off, this will probably be a very, very popular set. We're also getting Best Selection Volume 7, has some cool arts. 2 of these cards unknown, so presumably OP17 cards. But yeah, these 10 cards, all pretty reasonable cards. You've got the Viola from Lucy. This is Shura from the NL deck. Lightning Beast Kitten from the NL deck. Red Vista from Red Ace. Green Jinbei from the Impel Down Luffy deck. Mr. One from Luffy. The Nami and Yamato from the Yamato deck. Nice to see a lot of these sort of Nice to see a good number of the OP16 cards that don't have ults getting ults already. That's pretty hype. Got the 4-cost Arlong from the Krieg deck, and finally the 1-cost Vasco shot from the Blackbeard deck. The 2 cards that we're missing, one of them will be red and one of them will be yellow. Who knows what they'll be, but I love these best selections. I think they're always worth picking up if you can get your hands on them. We've also had the reveal of the next playmat. This one's coming with an alt art of the black Yamato leader. I know a lot of people don't like the leader arts from OP16, so if that applies to you, this might be one that you want to look at getting your hands on. The playmat art is also really, really nice. I love this one. All the Straw Hats just hanging out in the forest. You got Yamato, you got Otama. Nice Wano scene. I like it. Now we have a bit more information about the Flame Fruit tournament that was announced a while ago. These are slated to be enormous 10,000 player events, which is kind of insane. I don't know what to think about that one. That's vast. Pretty exciting. And this is the information for the Japanese event. You can pause and read it if you like. This is the old information that we had from quite a while ago relating to the events in Europe and NA. I don't believe we have any sign-up information for this just yet. If you know, let me know, because I want to sign up for this as soon as possible, because this has some pretty exciting prizing that we can talk about on the next couple of slides. For playing, you're going to get this Don, and then we have a lot of alt-art leaders for tournament prizing, which is insane. That's super exciting. And it goes all the way down to top 512. Though, if there's actually 10,000 participants, that's actually not that many getting the 512, right? This is top 5%. If there's 10k players, I feel like this won't reach 10k in Europe or NA. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I don't think these will reach 10k in Europe or NA. We'll have to see. Anyway, top 512 are going to get an alt of GY Law, and these are all leaders that were present on Dressrosa, which I think is a really cool sort of touch. I like it a lot. Top 256 will get this Usopp alt art. For 128, it's Red Black Sabo from OP13. For top 64, they've got this Dofi, and this might be my favourite one. I really like this Dofi. The hacky flares look insane on this one. Top 32 are going to get a Rebecca alt art, which this is probably my second favourite. This card just looks beautiful. I don't know, all the Rebecca cards always seem to look good. I just like the blue sky and the flowers they always do in the background. They look pretty chill. And then top 16 are going to get a Lucy alt art. And this is the winner card. The winner is going to get this Flame Fruit. I presume this is going to be one of one until they do more of these tournaments. Which, yeah, this one's going to be pricey. This one's going to be pricey, but it doesn't look like it's going to actually have card text. It'll just be a tournament prize card, which is probably for the best. Also, alongside this event, there's going to be certain event-specific goods. We saw this before with the Nami playmat, the Whole Cake Island Nami leader, which was a really botched release. They did not print anywhere near enough of those, and those got scalped to shit immediately. So I hope they're able to print more for this event or distribute it in some other way as well. We've got this red ace leader that's coming with this playmat, exactly the same as what happened with the Whole Cake Nami leader. And then we're also getting these promos, which these are that Japan, these are out in Japan now, and they're actually quite nice buffs for red ace. We don't have these. We have no idea when we will be getting these, but it sounds like we're likely to be getting them starting in September. I just hope they print another method of distribution for these cards as well. Maybe they print like half-art versions of them as tournament participation promos. We'll have to see, because if this is the only way to get these and these end up being good in Ace or that new red Newgate leader, that's going to be tough, man. That's going to suck. That's going to actually suck. But we'll see. So that's it. A lot of news today. A lot of exciting cards. Let me know, what are you most excited for? Is it the starter decks? Is it OP17 or something else? Maybe one of those events. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.